With Spokane Chiefs head coach Ryan Smith. Coach, as we speak right now, your group has gotten the opportunity to play a couple of preseason games. But in general terms, how has everybody looked? How's everybody feeling through camp here and into the preseason? And what's the excitement level like for Chiefs hockey 10 days or so out from the start of the season?
Yeah, I think like everybody at this time of the year, you're very optimistic and you like your group. And, some of the vets that have come back are showing well. And the new guys, guys that are trying to prove themselves and earn a spot, have certainly given themselves that chance. I think the excitement level, again, probably around the league is high at this moment. I mean, it's everybody. The off season drags on you, and you get a little more excited as the season gets closer. And now that we're into it, and we've been through a couple weeks of training camp, a few exhibition games, it just feels, like you can hardly wait to get going with the regular season.
Tell you what, when you look at your group, there is a mix of youth and a bit of veteran leadership as well. There, you look at the names Berkeley Catton, and then at the other end of the table, Graham Sword, Mason Beaupitt, older guys on your team that are NHL prospects now. When you look at your group as a whole, Ryan, what are some of the areas of strength that you see that you're kind of excited to work with over the course of this season?
Yeah, I think, Mason's one of the better goalies in the league. He's proven himself the last couple of years. I mean, he excites you, when he's in the net, there's a chance to win. He's capable of stealing some games. And then our decor, with, you mentioned Graham and some of the others, Sage Weinstein coming off Holinka, and just the group that's back there has been around. They're a veteran group. Still a little bit young as far as age, but experience. They've all had a chance to play in the league. So that's probably our strength starting the season is, our back end and our goaltending. Hopefully our defensive play will reflect that. And then up front, we've got some spark in our young guys. You mentioned Berkeley and, Gazowski, and players like this. They're electric. They can play, they can shoot, they can score. And some of the veteran guys, the Shovel Dayoffs, the Svetlakovs, you hope that they pop a little bit more this year as their career goes on. And it's a nice blend we have.
Let's talk about Sage Weinstein, because he's a guy that earned a spot on that Canadian roster at the Holinka Gretzky Cup in August, and is a guy that is being certainly looked at and will be looked at over the course of the season for the 2023 NHL draft. For those who are maybe a little bit unfamiliar with what Sage has to offer on the ice, I mean, tell me about his game, and by extension, what kind of perhaps a momentum boost did he get from experiencing that Holinka Gretzky tournament and coming away with a gold medal?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get to represent your country at any level is exciting, and it's an honor, for Sage to, I think, to make that team was a big accomplishment, and then to play the way he did in the tournament and help the Canadian team win the gold. I can only benefit himself and us going into the season. I think he's got some confidence, playing at that level. It's such a high level, the opportunity to see yourself against peers around the world. It's unique. And when you see that and you can play and have success, I think as an individual, his confidence will be high. Sage brings hardness to the game. He doesn't take shifts off. He passes hard, he skates hard, and he particularly plays hard in the grimy areas. And he's physical, open ice checks, a little bit of an old school when it comes to that. And I believe that's what helped them make that Holinka team, is some of that hardness and the willingness to throw checks and get involved in that side of the game. And he'll continue to increase that. But I also think that Sage has some offense to him, and he can play and he can skate. His skating is outstanding. So for us, it's exciting, and he's only 17. So he's got some time ahead of him. But yeah, you're right. The eyes will be on him, and there's a good reason why he catches your attention with the way he plays and just the physical play that he has.
Berkeley Catton, the first overall pick of the 2021 WHL prospects draft. You got a bit of a look at him last year down the stretch and into the playoffs, and gave him some big opportunities in the playoffs as well with respect to ice time and situational play. But as he comes into the league on a full-time basis here as a 16-year-old, what are maybe some of your expectations for kind of what you hope to see from him as he kind of finds his way in the league, and who are some of the guys that he can maybe lean on to kind of help assist him as he kind of gets used to life in the WHL?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you mentioned, he came in last year at the tail end of the season, and that's maybe a little easier because you know that you only got a certain amount of games and then the playoffs. But hitting the ground running, I think in training camp you could see benefited from that time in the spring with us. And Berkeley's a special player. He makes players around him better. I think that's the biggest thing is, you want to play with players like that. They get you the puck at the right time. They're always in the right spot. Berkeley wants to make plays. He's got some confidence for a young guy. I mean, you could see it in our camp. You could see it in exhibition that he's, a guy that the puck seems to fall around. Even when he doesn't have it, it ends up on his stick. And I think nobody's naive to think that there'll be some moments and some nights where as a 16-year-old, it's, he's going to have some tougher times. But I think, as the season goes on, he gets more ice time. He gets more comfortable with the league, gets more comfortable with us in Spokane and his teammates. The sky's the limit when it comes to a player like Berkeley. And, he's got some good guys around him. Chase Berthollet is going to a camp in this week, and he's been in his shoes as well, so he can help them. And like I mentioned, some of the other guys that are into that veteran leadership role that were in Berkeley's shoes as 16s will help. Graham Sward and these kind of guys will be valuable for Berkeley to lean on. And I think the biggest thing is Berkeley wants to learn. He wants to be a hockey player. He's willing to put in the work. He's not just out there to score goals. He wants to be a complete player. And from what I've seen so far, a small sample size, I mean, it's a pleasure to coach him, and looking forward to seeing how he progresses through the league.
Last one for you, Coach, is you look around the U.S. division. I mean, it's no secret that this division's been a bit of a gauntlet for years now. Last year, no exception. You have Seattle, who comes out of the conference and reaches the WHL championship. But just in a general sense, when you look at kind of your divisional foes and you look at the group around you, I mean, how excited are you guys to kind of test your mettle and see where you stand here as we get going into the season?
Yeah, no, it's a good division. This is a good league. It's I argue it's the best junior hockey league in the world, and every organization and team has outstanding people involved and players involved year in and year out. So there's no nights off in the Western League, and there's no nights off in the U.S. division. Seattle has a strong team coming back from last year. They'll pose a problem, and they can play any way you want: speed, skill, heaviness, good goaltending, special teams. They're definitely a team that you have to be on your toes, ready to go against. Everett's been a top contender for years, play a hard style and no shifts off. Portland is always in the mix, a team that can play, one of the faster teams, skill. They make plays. They've put you on your heels and can really score some goals and play that way. And then, Tri-Cities is our traditional rival just up the road in Kennewick. And those games are always special when you're playing your rival. And they have some really good players as well, good goaltending, well coached. And so, our division, it prepares you. And if in the games within division, I mean, are so important in the standings, and that heightens the intensity. And, our group, knows that. I don't think we're running away from that. We're going to, go into those games as prepared as we can. And, hopefully they're talking about us as well that way, that, we're not an easy game, and we have to be ready for the Chiefs when they come to town or when we go into Spokane. So our games in the U.S. division are exciting. The crowds are into it. And, I enjoy whether it's Everett, Seattle, Tri-Cities, or Portland. Those are all games that you get up for as a coach and as a team, and look forward to, those rivalries continuing this season.